Hello and welcome to the first ever Sidekick Gaming podcast. I am your host, Jay.
And I'm the Sidekick,
Matt. So basically we're going to be talking about different news articles and stuff from the latest gaming news, even though some of this is a week old, but it's still relatively relevant. We're college students and we're doing this for our final project, so bear with us if it's a little rough.
It'll only improve over time.
Yeah, exactly. So, what games have you been playing lately?
Genshin Impact, some Honkai, Death End Request.
So what are those games, in case somebody doesn't know?
Honkai and Genshin are gacha games. Genshin is mostly open world, going around completing quests. Has a pretty decent combat system with some in-depth elemental reaction mechanics to it. Honkai is Genshin's predecessor. It's also actually pretty in-depth, and Death End Request is a Japanese RPG I bought on sale that I decided to give a try.
Yeah, so we're going to get into Genshin Impact later on in the podcast, because we have an article about it, and we like to end our podcast with a game recommendation, and we're going to recommend Genshin. As for me, I've also been playing a lot of Genshin Impact, and I recently started playing Persona 5 Scramble, which is a sequel to Persona 5. It's a Dynasty Warriors-esque game. It's pretty cool so far. I haven't gotten too far into it yet, but from what I've played, I do like it a lot. But our first article here is about Skullgirls Season 1 Pass. Because while this isn't really that relevant unless you're super into fighting games, I think it's hilarious because Skullgirls is a really old game. This game came out like 10 years ago, and it's been re-released about two or three times, and Second Encore is finally getting a Season 1 pass. And the funny thing about it to me is the Season 1 pass starts with a new character named Annie. She looks pretty cool. And then in March, they're getting the digital art compendium, which is essentially an art book. And then in March again, I guess, we're getting the soundtrack. After that, though, we're getting one character and then nothing for the rest of the year. And then in 2022, we get two more characters. Now, I know that they're an indie studio and everything, but I mean, man, what took so long?
I guess they're just on a slippery slope. I mean, they've kind of been going through it ever since, if I remember right, I think what was he, head of the studio?
Yeah, Mike Z, he got canceled because he said some weird stuff to a cosplayer on Twitter DMs or Discord DMs, something like that.
Yeah, so frankly, I'm surprised the game's even still alive. Like, I was genuinely shocked to hear they're getting a DLC character. My experiences with Skullgirls is pretty limited. I'll never forget when the game first came out. I played the demo, and this was 10 years ago before I actually started learning fighting games and stuff. I was like, oh cool, I'll try this out. First match I get in, bodied by Peacock CPU, just all types of nonsense all over the screen. Uninstalled it, never touched it again. PS3 days, by the way, just never touched it again. Years later, I started getting into fighting games, of course, but I never went back because nobody I know particularly plays it, or at least nobody I'd want to play with anyway. But yeah, I didn't even look at the trailer to see what Annie was looking like, but I know she's definitely a character that's been in development for a long time. In fact, I'm pretty sure she even has memes about it.
Yeah, Annie was... so my history with Skullgirls was... same thing, I downloaded the demo, and I had a friend who was super duper into it, and I thought it looked really cool, especially for an indie game at the time, because indie games were just on the rise, and I think they were the first big indie fighting game. And I had a lot of interest in it. I played the demo, I thought it was pretty fun, and then the actual game came out, and it didn't have like functional multi-person lobbies. And for the longest time, I was like, man, how am I supposed to play this with my friends, if I can only play with one person, I have to like start a lobby over again to play with another person. And I played the game for a good bit, for like a few months, like a year or something like that, until eventually, like, just the infrequent updates just kind of, like, I just lost interest after a while, and the characters are kind of busted, and I still think that Skullgirls is a pretty cool game, and I have a bit of respect for the developers to a certain degree for making such an in-depth and game filled with so much love and attention. But man, it is really something. They stopped working on this game and then made
Indivisible.
Yeah, the Indivisible, which was a divisive game because some people really liked it and then some people thought it was kind of garbage, which was also kind of sad because I'm pretty sure that game was crowdfunded.
I do believe so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that came out and now they're just going back to I guess the old cash cow, Skullgirls. I hope that this puts more attention on the game. Maybe they'll show up at EVO this year because I think they showed up. I think they were at EVO like once or twice.
Yeah, I think so. Is EVO happening?
I think so. It happened last year, right?
Yeah, but EVO's career got canceled too.
Oh.
Yeah, when the whole Smash thing went down and some allegations came out about the guy that started it.
That's right.
I'm not sure EVO is happening. I haven't looked into it since it happened, but...
Well, I mean, EVO is not one guy. It was made by two dudes, so...
The problem is that people started backing out of going to it because of that. Yeah, that's the problem. I don't know. I'll look into it later.
Yeah, well...
Might be good for an update.
Yeah, it may be. But our second news story is much more somber, I guess, depending on who you are. This story comes from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg. EA cancels revision of Anthem after much planned 2019 launch. Video game publisher Electronic Arts has decided not to move forward with the planned revision of Anthem, an online video game that was widely criticized following its launch 2 years ago. A small team at EA-owned game developer BioWare had spent the past year and a half working on this revision, which they called Anthem Next. They hoped to overhaul the game and get a second chance from fans. February marked the end of Anthem Next's incubation period, which meant that EA had to decide whether or not to move forward or abandon the project. Bloomberg previously reported earlier this month, EA executives reviewed the current version of Anthem Next and decided not to proceed. So yeah, Anthem's dead again. Anthem's such a strange and sad story. Because I remember when they first showed it, a lot of people were really hyped. And I had been playing Destiny. And to me, it kind of looked like Destiny, but with flying. And I mean, I don't play Destiny anymore because I just can't do it anymore. But I just kind of thought like this could be cool, but I also really... It's also EA, and EA always messes it up. They just always mess up. So I tempered my expectations, and the game went quiet for a bit and came back at that next E3, and they kept the hype just kept building and building, and people were really excited. And then the beta came out, and when the beta came out, people were really worried, and people were less excited and were more trepidatious about whether or not they want to buy the game. And then the full game came out, and it was a horrible it was not good. The game was not good at all.
That's a shame. As funny as it is sometimes when games come out and just hard flop, you do hate to see something that you had some faith in come out and just kind of yikes. Like, that's how I've been feeling about this guy in 6. I've actually been sitting here hoping and praying that game finally comes out, and it's coming out. And boy, the things that I've been hearing from people that played that beta, I'm just heartbroken, honestly. So hearing that this game's shutting down without getting a second chance, it definitely is sad to hear, but like you said, it's EA, and they're just notorious for the horrible mistakes against the gamer race that they do.
Yeah, and that's kind of the worst part about it, is you say it died before it got its second chance, and it did get its second chance. This would be the third chance.
Oh, yeesh.
Yeah,
Hey, they say third time's the charm for a reason, right?
yeah, they didn't get that third time. But the second, after it launched, people were mad, but they still had their staunch fans, and they tried, they said, well, we're gonna fix it. And they tried because they had a roadmap of content they were gonna put out, but they had to delay it because the game had so many bugs. And so they spent months and months and months bug fixing and bug fixing and bug fixing. And on top of having no content to do, the game also had a completely broken economy. So they had a lot of things to fix, and eventually they got it to the point where it was mostly playable, and then they went completely silent. And then this was supposed to be their big break to fix the game. It's unfortunate, especially when you see games like No Man's Sky that launched, I think, when did that game come out? Like 2016 or something like that. And it came out, and like a lot of people were really upset, and rightfully so. I was one of them, because I was really hyped for that game. And it came out, and it was just a more boring version of Minecraft, except no multiplayer. And then when you get to the center of the universe, spoilers, nothing happens. You just get sent right back to the beginning of the game. And I mean, there was all that controversy about Sean Murray lying about things and stuff like that. And I mean, Hello Games just went silent, and then kept updating it and putting out more and more content and updates. And while from what I've seen, I'm still not impressed, the fans that in the community that play the game are, and that's what matters the most. They were able to rectify their wrongs and make what looks like a really good game now.
Yeah, sometimes that's just what you need. Like, I'll never forget Minecraft. Like, Minecraft before it got popular and all the extra stuff came out, man. Like, no Enderman, no Ender Dragon, no in-game content, no undersea temples, bro. Like, you just walked around building simple houses to hide from the monsters at night, bro. And now look at it. So many different weird things you can do, bro. It's also why I ditched that game and went to Terraria, because Terraria was Minecraft. It's up there as actual cool things to do and bosses to fight. And now Minecraft is literally that. It's this Terraria but 3D. It's a weird little back and forth. But yeah, gradual updates and content really will revitalize the game, and it's unfortunate they didn't get a chance to really pump out their big break or whatever.
Yeah, and a lot of the top members of the team have left too, just completely abandoned the project. It's really sad, but one thing I guess I will say is, unlike most other EA-owned devs, at least they're not being destroyed. They're not being dismantled. BioWare is currently working on, soon to come out. I think it comes out this month or next month. Mass Effect Remaster, which people are excited about, and also they're working on a new Mass Effect game. And on top of that, they're doing the new Dragon Age game. So, as unfortunate of a story it is, BioWare still has a bright future ahead of them, so long as EA does not get in the way. But next is probably our biggest news story: the PlayStation State of Play that happened last week. It was pretty big. Had some interesting announcements, some less interesting announcements. First, they announced that Crash 4 is coming to the PS5 with some new enhancements. It's Crash. It's Crash 4. It's cool.
Yeah. Cool. In all seriousness, though, I never really got a chance to get into Crash Bandicoot, but everybody that I know that's played it says good things about it, so it's good they got their new game, and it's even better that it's getting on the PS5 with some spicy updates with all that new powerful PS5 technology that I still don't own.
Yeah, soon though. Maybe soon.
Yeah, I know it's coming soon.
After that, there was a trailer for Returnal, which is a game by Housemarque Games, who's known for Resogun and other shooty space games. But this time, it's a third-person game, which is pretty interesting. I think it's the first time that they've made a full-form AAA style game before. And I think it looks pretty cool. It's essentially a third-person shooter. What's that genre again? There you go, roguelike.
It's more roguelite, like, because instead of permadying, you just reset, but the dungeon kind of formats and the enemies respawn. It's a pretty unique concept, honestly, like that for a shooter of all things. You get dropped and all the enemies respawn. It has the potential to be harder than Dark Souls, and people love talking about how hard that is, because if you think about it, Dark Souls enemies kind of just stay in the same place, don't they? Like, yeah, you know they're coming, so you can prepare for them. You can get you can memorize their like patterns and know when to parry and block and stuff. But with this game, you're going to die, come back. You're not even really going to guarantee to know which way you need to go, and the enemies certainly are going to be in different places. Like, it definitely has potential to, be a lot harder than that, especially since it's a shooter. So it's kind of interesting to see how that game will pan out.
Yeah, I wonder how that works, because it's also pretty narrative driven. So I wonder exactly how you would go about going to the event scenes and stuff like that. But I think the game looks pretty interesting. I'm going to keep my eye out for it when I eventually get a PS5. Next was Sifu, which was a kung fu. They're describing it as an intense kung fu action experience. I think this game looks really cool. It reminds me a little bit of Sleeping Dogs in that you have that really close up. Sleeping Dogs was really close up, but really intense, visceral, hand-to-hand combat. And it also reminds me of Absolver, which was really weird, I think, indie game that was essentially kung fu, but you had powers and you could also pick up weapons and stuff like that. I played it like over the summer, like a few years ago. It was pretty cool, but Sifu looks pretty interesting. What do you think about it?
I am a fan of action games, and that game was pretty dope. Like, I'm not sure if that was like actual gameplay or anything, but
I think it was.
If it is, yeah, if that's actual gameplay, sign me up, bro. Like, I love kung fu. Like, playing like Batman Arkham games, most satisfying parts when you just get into the flow and start beating down all those people, bro. Like, that's it right there, man. Like, sometimes you just need to beat somebody in a game, man. It's a good old fashioned wombo combo, man. It's like watching Ip Man, except you're Ip Man.
yeah, that's a pretty good example. It seems like you age in the story too. It looks interesting. It looks pretty cool. Next they had Knockout City, which is a really, really weird game, but it looks really fun. It's essentially a dodgeball battle royale, but it also has different modes. But you throw the dodgeball around, you can do curve shots, you can do all kinds of trick shots, and you can also turn into the ball and have one of your teammates pick you up and throw you at the other team and eliminate them. It seems pretty fun.
Yeah, it's surprisingly in-depth looking. Like, watching the trailer, just the sheer amount of different things. Like, yeah, trip shots. They said something about a sniper ball. Like, man, and it's dodgeball too, man. Like, do you like dodgeball?
Yeah,
I love dodgeball. Back when I was in elementary school, I'll never forget. They'd say, "Hey, all right, everybody, get in the middle and play dodgeball." We doing dodgeball, bro. I'll never forget this Matrix dodge I did. So awesome, bro. And now you have to play that as a battle royale. It's got 1v1s in it too, bro. And honestly, I just like the game's visual aesthetic. Battle royales that are like not, taking themselves seriously, like Fortnite and Apex. I don't know, they just have that charm to them, man. Like, compared to just Warzone. It's just Call of Duty, but like with 100 dudes, bro. Like, I don't know, like that game just really looks interesting. It looks like it'd be fun to play with your friends and just throw some dodgeballs at someone like old time, you know?
I wonder if people still play dodgeball anymore. That sounds like such a like no in 2021. Like, imagine being a kid and getting a ball thrown at your face. That just sounds like that wouldn't even be appropriate anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, people still play football. And that's tackling.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Next we had Solar Ash, which at the PlayStation State of Play that they did in December, I thought looked way cooler. But now that I've seen the actual gameplay, I'm less interested. It's a third-person action game. Well, it's a third-person platformer. And it's really movement-based, which I love me some movement-based gameplay. Like, I'm a huge fan of Jet Set Radio. But this, I don't know. It looks fine. Like, visually it's really pretty. But the actual gameplay, like the enemies, you kind of just blast through them within like 2 or 3 hits.
It just looks kind of boring.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, I didn't get to play Jet Set Radio back in the day. I want to, though, but I play Spider-Man games, and while it's not particularly some movement-based game, the movement's important, and the thing about Spider-Man games that I really like is that web swinging is always fun and satisfying. Like, you don't have to do a lot of weird stuff or anything, but just swinging around New York, for some strange reason, that's always been the most satisfying thing ever in a Spider-Man game. And kudos if you can do air combos and other cool stuff like Web of Shadows. I know people say it's not the best Spider-Man game, but you can't deny being in the red suit, swing kicking someone into the air, and eagle kicking them like 3 times and then knocking them back down isn't like the most dope thing ever. And there's other games too, like movement's like a really important thing in a game, honestly. Like, if it's fun, you can take away from combat being boring-ish. I mean, within reason, you know what I mean? But, and that game, it kind of almost reminds me of Gravity Rush.
Yeah.
Like, because in Gravity Rush, you just have to aim for the core on the enemies, and depending on the enemy you're fighting, it takes more or less. But Gravity Rush has the whole "is gravity" thing going for it, and it's not always easy to hit the enemies. But in that game, it looks a little bit too, you know,
button mashy. Yeah, in Gravity Rush, there's an element of strategy to that, to getting around the enemy and making sure that you're under them or above them or whatever, so that you can kick them as many times as you need to. It still felt satisfying and gratifying to defeat things in Gravity Rush. In this game, you're kind of, it looks like the character you're playing as just kind of skates around and slashes things like pretty monotonously, like nothing is even like an obstacle for them. It's early. I don't know how the game's going to be later on. I'm intrigued by its visuals a lot. I really love sci-fi space stuff. The trailer opens with a black hole. I think the story could be interesting. I'm just a little trepidatious about it. I'm just, it's one of those games that you gotta like see it for yourself or wait for reviews or something like that.
Yeah.
Next is Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. What a journey Five Nights at Freddy's has had. I don't remember the developer's name, but
Scott Cawthon, I think.
Yeah, he originally started making Bible computer games, like in the 90s. And I remember watching a video about him a long time ago. And I was like, man, that's such a strange departure. Like, he made all these games about Moses and Joseph and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden, horror game. And I mean, his visuals were pretty creepy in those old games, but I mean, he was just getting into game design and stuff like that, so kind of got to give him a break. But I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's has been going on for such a long time.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's is like, it exists, man. Like, I know people are scared of animatronics. I'm not, but the first game, at least, the jump scares, bro. Like, jump scares are guaranteed to get at least like one, provided you don't know what's coming.
Plus the scream that it does.
Yeah. Because my old film teacher actually used to tell me, like, just watch a horror movie mute, and suddenly it's not scary anymore because sound is like a very important part of scaring somebody. Like, a loud sound in your ear will always make you jump, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you don't know what's coming. But with Five Nights at Freddy's, it's just so strange how, like, it has a story, but the story just keeps going, you know? Like,
as stories do.
Yeah, no, it's strange. It's weird because the story is supposed to have already had a resolution to what I hear, but yet we still get games. And I'm just wondering, man, what's going on with this game story? Like, I thought they caught the purple guy already. What is this?
Well, you know, it all goes back.
Oh, you might be getting into game theories here. I don't know, man. That might be a little too copyrighted.
Yeah, you might be right. Isn't every, I guess not every game, but I know some of the games did some sort of backstory on the guy that you play as, right? Or the guy that made the...
I want to say that's the third one, yeah.
Yeah. I know one of them you play as a baby or something.
I think that's the third one.
Yeah, it's weird. Five Nights at Freddy's it's weird, but I mean, people love it. Kids still love it for whatever reason. It's so weird that a horror series became such a huge thing for kids.
Kids like bright, colorful things. Kids like animals. Yeah, I know there's jump scares and stuff, but I mean, kids don't really have any sense of danger sometimes, man. Like, so as long as they're seeing something bright and colorful, like, I mean, we put warning labels on colorful things and toys for a reason, so kids don't eat them. Yeah,
you're not lying. Yeah, well, let's talk about the actual game for a minute. I think, I don't know, it's Five Nights at Freddy's. It's semi-open world, or at least it's level based, and you explore the Five Nights at Freddy's restaurants and
it's a
thing. Yeah, it's you go into a ball pit and you get chased by to me it looks cool. I think it looks like it could be cool. The animatronics aren't scary, but that's I don't know what the design choice was with making them look like normal animatronics and not the actual broken up things. It may be a story thing. Maybe later on in the game, because at the end of the trailer they show a broken up, messed up animatronic hand. So maybe throughout the course of the game they just start breaking or something. But I was never really into Five Nights at Freddy's. If this was the first game, I'd probably be more interested in it. Another wait and see to me. I think it looks like it could be cool. Five Nights at Freddy's fans are probably gonna love it anyways. It is what it is.
If you ever felt like getting chased down in a Chuck E. Cheese restaurant, that's your game.
yeah, exactly. Next is Oddworld Soulstorm. What are your thoughts on Oddworld?
I've never played a single Oddworld game like ever, and I only recently I think I had heard of it, but I only recently saw what it looked like when they started announcing either this game or the last one, and I mean, based on what I was seeing, the state of play game looks pretty cool. I don't think I'm particularly into games of that genre, like...
Yeah, the puzzle solving.
Yeah, puzzle solving where you have to control other people. Like, there's a lot of different ways to play that game from what the guy was saying. And I was like, man, that's cool. It's not something that I think I want to dump hours into doing, but it sounds cool. Like, I don't know, maybe I'd give it a shot sometime. But yeah, the game looks cool. There's plenty of different ways to solve the puzzles, which that's probably one of the most important things about a puzzle game. Like, when you have a puzzle game where there's more than one way to get through your obstacle, like, that can, fit your play style, I think that's a pretty big win. Because being restricted into doing things only one way kind of just stifles you.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to, But it's also kind of hard to formulate an opinion on Oddworld because I've never really played one of them before. Like, maybe I'll try one out sometime. I don't know.
It seems like a game you may like. I heard of Oddworld a long time ago when they did the remaster for A's Odyssey, and I know it's a really beloved series that just kind of died and disappeared. And when it came back, people were really excited. So I'm happy for Oddworld fans. I think it looks cool. It's Oddworld. It's got some story stuff to it, you know. I'm not huge into puzzle platforming, but it does look pretty cool. But yeah, Oddworld, it looks cool, man. The next thing that they showed, though, was Kena Bridge of Spirits, which I think looks really cool. To me, this game is essentially what a lot of people expected PS4 games to be, which was that bridge between movie and game, where it kind of looks like a Pixar type of game, like the visuals for it looks like some sort of a Pixar or Disney film, and it has like action gameplay where you can run around, climb things and stuff like that. It looks really interesting. I'm interested in the story as well. You got to guide these spirits and things like that. I just think the game looks really cool. What about you?
Oh man, you ever been to like the eye doctor and they just kind of move a thing around and tell you to just stay straight, and eventually it kind of just gets this part of your eye and it disappears?
Yeah.
That game's in my blind spot, bro. I'm just drawing a complete and total blank on which, like, you're even talking about.
Oh my god.
Like, I remember the lit girl's face and all, but after that, just white. I don't know what you're talking about, honestly.
Well, it's an action game where you guide spirits, and there's some dark creatures that you gotta kill. And you climb around and you fight them with your magic wand stick.
Sounds like Attacking the Power of Juju.
It kind of is like Attacking the Power of Juju. But I think it looks cool. Next is Deathloop by Arcane Studios. Deathloop is it looks really cool, but at the same time it literally just looks like Dishonored.
That is not a bad thing.
I guess, but I don't know. I really loved the gameplay of Dishonored 1. And I thought the story was pretty cool too. I got to the second game and I don't know. It just felt like the same thing again with a less interesting story. And to me, I just would like to see these guys, because they made the new Prey game, which was also pretty mixed in the way people received it. When I played the demo, I thought it was amazing, but I didn't get to actually play the game. But this Deathloop, it looks really cool. It's just, man, I really wish they'd do something new. Like, it has the same teleport as in Dishonored. It has the same wind push thing in Dishonored. It took some BioShock Infinite powers, because you can magnetize the bullets that are shot at you and then shoot them back. You can pull people in the air. Like, it looks cool, but I don't know. The story is interesting in that you're an assassin who dies, and like when you die, you just come right back. You're in this constant death loop to where you eventually reach your goal of defeating all the rest of the assassins. I think it looks cool, but
yeah, I really like that game's aesthetic. Actually, I really like cartoony like worlds that are like nowhere near, like the dissonance between something that's cartoony but then it's like a freaking cult or something with some rabbit masks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. Like that always is pretty cool. Like, whoever invented that.
Rabbit masks?
No, not rabbit masks. Like, just cartoon stuff where it's way darker than you really expect on it. That stuff's cool.
Yeah.
But some game devs just really fall in love with their mechanics and just really like putting them into a bunch of different things. Like, look at Assassin's Creed and
that's not a good example, man.
Oh, I was gonna say, what's that other game they made? Like Far Cry?
You mean, are you talking about Far Cry or are you talking about Phoenix? What is that game called?
Far Cry too?
They're not the same team, but it is Ubisoft, yeah.
Yeah, but they both got the basically Eagle Vision, right?
Yeah, but that's not a good
Hey, that's good enough for me. Some people just really like their telekinesis pushes and their teleports, and I don't know why they like it so much, but hey, it's pretty fun. I mean, if you can do kills half as cool as in Dishonored, fine by me, bro. Like, I mean, I'm not really good, so I didn't pull them off, but stopping time and like pig sticking people and then like restarting time, like JoJo's, bro, it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool at the end of the day. It's cool and it's fun. And regardless of, I guess, whether or not it's going to be some 10 out of 10 amazing, super deep story or something like that, at the end of the day, it's going to be a cool and fun game to play, I think.
Plus, it might be a little bit more unique since that other assassin's also looking for you.
That's right.
Yeah, who knows how that's going to pan out since she seemingly has the same powers as you, if I'm remembering right.
And she's another character, another player.
Yeah.
So that is also what makes that game interesting, is it's the synchronous multiplayer game. I wonder how... That sounds like it could be really cool or really annoying.
Yeah. That's going to be quite something to follow, huh?
Yeah, like, I mean, imagine, because Dishonored is not like a super easy game. Like, imagine you're playing through it, you're struggling or you're about to die, and then you just make a comeback. And that dude or girl or whatever is standing in the back with a sniper rifle aimed right at your head while you're healing up, and then boom, domes you.
There's always the risk with games like this, because let's be real here, bro. We're gamers. A lot of us are just inherently toxic, bro. You already know some poor people are going to finally just, after tons of setup, get the right scenario, and then just some dude's just been sitting there for about 30 minutes drinking him some Monster, just finally quick scopes me. All that hard work's done and dry. I take the game back, honestly, bro. It reminds me of Let It Die, bro. Like,
oh man,
how people just intentionally took their high-level characters to the level 1 area and died just so that they murder and farm you, bro. Like, gamers are creatures of malice, bro. Like, we will do the worst things possible when we get the chance, and if you let us get away with it.
Yeah, imagine, like, you said stop time. Imagine you're at the end of the level or something, and somebody like you're at the person you have to kill. You've got this nasty plan where you're ready. You got the setup, like you poison their drink that they're about to do, or they're about to drink or something like that. And they drink the poison. They're stunned. You're about to hop off the top of some building and just knife them. And somebody stops time, walks up to you, does a little Fortnite dance, and kills you, man.
Bro, that sounds dangerously close to like if you were just playing Hitman except somebody else knew you were there. Could just screw up all your hard work.
That's
bro.
Exactly what this game is.
Oh my god. That makes it hit a little different, huh?
Yeah. That's exactly what this game is. It sounds cool, but maybe add a toggle to turn that off.
Yeah, that's what that one Batman game's doing.
You mean the new one?
Yeah, where you can play as like the members of the Bat family, and it's basically online, but you can turn that off and you can just play yourself if you want to. So maybe they'll do that.
Yeah, maybe they will.
I mean, they'd be smart to do that, is what I'm saying. Because let's be real here, bro. I would refund that game if that happened to me, man.
Yeah, I'd be livid. And I think that game comes out this year. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. But finally, last year's game of the year, no matter what publication said it wasn't, Final Fantasy VII Remake gets new PS5 exclusive stuff like camera mode and what else did they add?
They overall made the game look a lot prettier with those brand new PS4 magic graphics.
PS5, but yes, pretty Final Fantasy graphics. But most importantly, the thing that you really care about, Yuffie DLC.
Yeah, I was really shocked to see it.
Me too, because I wondered how. To give a background, I love Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII is probably one of my favorite JRPGs ever, and Yuffie and Vincent Valentine are both secret characters. They're not guaranteed in the game at all in the original game. You have to like do a certain quest and find them. And so I wondered how exactly those characters were going to work. And I didn't figure they'd be in the first part of Final Fantasy VII Remake because, you know, I don't think you get Yuffie until about halfway through the original game.
According to what people tell me, you get her when you leave Midgard.
Really? Okay, never mind. I didn't get her until later. But yeah, I didn't think she'd actually be in the game, but lo and behold, they're doing DLC where you get to play as her, and I think it takes place after the original game. Yeah. And so she's wandering around trying to save people with her friend, and there's the boss that you have to fight is from Crisis Core, which a lot of people were excited about because, I mean...
He's not from Crisis, he's from Dirge of Service.
Yeah, there you go. People were excited about because, I mean, it's Dirge of Cerberus. If you know anything about Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy VII and its games, Dirge of Cerberus is like, nobody cares about that game. And like, it never gets any actual representation in any game. So seeing that a Dirge of Cerberus character is in Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I had no idea who that was, bro. I never seen him in my life. I didn't play the original Final Fantasy VII or anything, but I played Kingdom Hearts, bro, and I've just kind of been consuming all types of Final Fantasy VII stuff from a young age without ever actually playing that game. And throughout all of that, I have never once seen this guy until they dropped the trailer for this, and I'm like, who is this? And like, I think he's supposed to be a secret boss too. Did you get fight?
Is he secret? I thought he was part of the...
He might, I think he's part of the story, but I think he might also be a secret. Because I know Nomura said he really wanted to see who would win between him and Cloud, so he might just...
in the base game, you mean?
Maybe.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. When I was playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, never at any point did I think to myself, man, this game should have DLC. I never thought about that at all.
Me neither.
I knew Yuffie was somebody we had to get, and I guess Vincent. I was like, man, I guess they're just gonna handle that whenever the next part of the game comes out, whenever that is. And here we get the remake, and here we get like the PS5 port, and of course it's got all the extra pretty stuff that the PS5 promises you, but boom, DLC, Yuffie.
Yeah, I was really surprised too. Yuffie is one of my favorite characters in Final Fantasy VII, and I think she ended up being like one of the people I used in my party at the end of the game. Like, Yuffie's awesome. So getting to see her, I mean, what that game does with its characters is so good, and getting to see Yuffie get that same kind of treatment, it sounds cool. Because she was mostly just a joke character in the original game. But that about does it for the PlayStation State of Play. And our final news story today is about Genshin Impact. So Genshin Impact is essentially a gacha game that got super... A gacha game is essentially a Japanese, usually anime game where you kind of spend money on different units to play as and stuff like that. And it's basically a game that tries its best to get its money out of you. And they're not always very good games, but some of them are pretty good, like Fate Grand Order, depending on who you talk to, Azure Lane, and Arcanites, also depending on who you talk to. But Genshin Impact is different because it's got a massive open world, and it's got a pretty grandiose story. And it's all in third person. It's all a third person action game. It's really unique in the gacha game. I'll just cut this part out. What am I trying to say? It's unique in the gacha game. It's unique in the gacha game genre.
Yeah, okay. You starting with your genre?
Yeah, I don't know why. I was trying to say some other word. Anyways, so. This is an article from The Gamer by Sean Murray. According to MiHoYo, they plan to release a new game every 3 to 4 years. And on top of that, their ultimate goal for the game is to create a virtual world. This was a statement made by the CEO. Create a world in which 1 billion people worldwide are willing to live by 2030. That is a really weird goal for a game. What do you think?
Man, I'm a big believer in technology definitely can go too far. And look, man, I played a lot of open world RPGs, and I know what I do when I get in those, bro. Imagine living in one of those with some clown running around with this level 80 to 90 weapon he grinded, and he has no real enemies to test him out on, and suddenly he looks over at you. That's not an ideal world for me. But jokes aside, playing Genshin, I'd say they already succeeded, to be honest. Like,
really,
bro, I would not mind living in Mondstadt.
Really?
Yeah, really, bro. The place looks nice, comfy. Got these cool gliders, bro. Like, I don't know, it's pretty dope to me. I mean, it doesn't take much, to be honest, bro. Like, you just have to make a place that's a little bit more appealing than the real world, and boom, people want to live there.
I mean, maybe if we didn't have monsters and Snezhnaya, which is essentially just evil Russia running around doing all kinds of...
Look. It's Russia, first of all. And then, even crazier, bro, it's not all that different from the real world, bro. Like, we have things that can attack and hurt you here, bro.
We don't have monsters in the real world.
Bro, anybody with a fatal weapon can just hurt you as bad as any monster, bro. At least they have, like, food that magically heals you up, bro. Yeah.
Okay.
Pay, like...
Fair enough.
You have to pay medical bills for how long? Just to, like, heal a broken bone, bro, and these dudes eat, like, 3 patties with some cheese on them, and boom, injuries healed, bro. I don't know. I'm down for it.
I guess. I'd only, like, if I have a vision, which is essentially a thing that allows you to have powers in this game. If I had that, I'd feel a lot better about it. Because, man, if I was just a normal person in Genshin Impact, that would be it'd be weird. Like, imagine walking around and seeing all these people throw fireballs and tornadoes out of their swords and stuff like that, and you're just thinking, man, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, but I imagine a lot of people feel that way when they watch, like, gymnastics or something, and they're just like, man, this dude can do a split. That's amazing.
Huh, I didn't think about it that way. Interesting perspective, I guess. But speaking of Genshin Impact, we are towards the end of our podcast. And we usually would do a review of a game that we have been playing lately, but the game that we've been playing the most is Genshin Impact, so I thought it was pretty fitting for us to talk about that. So, today, they did a stream for the new update that's coming out. And it looks pretty fun. A lot of people are very disappointed because they really want to get to the new continent, which is Inazuma, which is essentially that game's Japan. And they don't want to wait. But we're going to be... it's based off of the rumors, we're going to be waiting for a very long time for that, until like maybe September. And right now, they're giving us an event, which is in Mondstadt, which is this game's... Is it Germany?
Yeah, it's Germany.
Yeah, where essentially it's this festival going on where you get to collect flowers and gain materials and in-game currency to where you can roll for the characters, and it looks cool to me. On top of that, they've got a new story quest, or they've got 4 new quests for characters that were in the game where you get to date like some of the characters. I don't know if you date all of them, but you get to date 2 of the girls. And there's also a new main story quest where you get to fight a new boss, which I think is going to be a weekly boss that you can keep fighting. It looks cool. What do you think?
That, honestly, because we just got an update where the world's equivalent to China has like their little lantern festival. I'm not sure if that's based off something real or not.
It's based off of the Chinese New Year.
Okay, yeah. Based off of their Chinese New Year, and Man, talk about getting blown out, bro. Like, they dropped this new update with literally 10 times the content, bro. Like, in that quest line, all you're doing is just making lanterns and giving them to people and helping them with their problems, and it gets old like almost immediately because I have little patience. But you don't really see all the characters that are from that place because there's like enough characters from Liyue to like count on two hands, I think, and you don't see a single one. Somebody mentions one every now and then, but that's it, bro. It's like, man, I kind of want to spend this new year with, you know, these people that I mostly endeared me to. And...
Wait, that's not true. Actually, you get to hang out with Xiao.
Yeah, but he's brand new, bro. Like, every brand new 5-star character gets a quest that you're on.
Hey, that's not. He's in the base game. He's in the base game. When you go to Liyue the first time, you have to talk to him like once.
Yeah, but I mean his he just came out as a character you can roll for.
Yeah.
And that basically doubles his story quest that every 5-star character gets when they come out.
That's true. But I mean the story quest can...
And besides, even still, that's one character out of, like I said, 2 hands worth of other characters, bro.
Yeah.
He doesn't even want to go to it either, bro. He's way more content to just stay in his little hole at that end and just chill.
I don't think I ever asked you after you completed the quest. What are your thoughts on Xiao as a character?
He's what he is quite well. He's supposed to be this. He's supposed to be this like demon yaksha thing, and he goes around murdering monsters, and he's been doing it for centuries, and he's reasonably mad and tired of it. All the people that he can even consider friends kind of either went crazy or turned evil, and it's just him. Or died, and it's just him. And like, he's not. I actually kind of respect that they didn't make him some. You talk to him 2 times and now he's your bestest buddy ever. Like,
yeah,
I actually quite respect that he's not so easy to get close to as that, because a lot of animes in particular will just have a dude have the edgiest, grittiest, most depressing backstory ever. Give the guy a box of chocolates and he's just a marshmallow. Like, I'm really happy they didn't do that with him. I perfectly understand why he wouldn't want to waste his time going to like a festival he's probably seen 600 times before. Like,
well over that, honestly.
Yeah,
I think
well
he's like several thousand years old or something like that.
Yeah, like he probably saw them start the festival, bro. Why would this one be any different for him?
Yeah. Well, didn't he say he never went to a single one?
Yeah, but he still probably saw them making it, right? Like, eventually you're going to see all these random lanterns just hit the sky and be like, huh, cool. And then go back to murdering the giant monsters trying to attack the city.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Xiao he's not my favorite character, but I do agree that I think they do his character. He's his character done pretty well. And I think that's one thing that I really actually like about Genshin Impact that I think sets it apart from a lot of anime games, is that while the main character is essentially the story of Genshin Impact is you're some traveler from another world who reached the world of Genshin Impact called Tevat, and like he's with his sister and he's just exploring, but some goddess of that world attacks you and steals your sister away, or brother, depending on if you choose to play as a girl or boy. And so you wake up like 100 or several hundred years later, and a little assistant shows up and she's helping you, and essentially you're traveling the world of Tevat trying to find your sister. And I think that what makes his game's characterization, or what makes his game unique compared to other anime games, is the characterization. Because while there are some anime tropey characters like the Chunibyo, like the delusional character who really thinks that they're something that they're not, but I think that the characters are a lot more grounded. They have their own things about them that make them unique and kind of what drive them. Not everyone in the game is really revolved around the main character, which I think a lot of anime games, especially gacha games where like Some of them are kind of just like waifu simulators where you're just trying to get your favorite girlfriend or something like that. None of the characters in this game really, I don't want to say they don't care about you, they do, but they have way more other important things going on than just trying to impress the main character all the time.
Yeah, that's it really, bro. Like, dudes are people.
Yeah, they're people in a world that's living with their own different things that they have to do.
They work a 9 to 5 just like anyone else.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed. We'll be back next week with another episode, hopefully with some interesting news, and if not, we'll make something up ourselves. That's it for me.
And me.
See you guys later.